A records map names to IP addresses, as we've seen. We've also seen what's called an NS, or a name server record, which maps a domain name to the authoritative name server for that domain. So we saw a bunch of NS records in the form of referrals, whereby if we ask the root for a mapping of gatech.edu to an IP address, it doesn't specifically know the answer, but it can issue a name server reply, or an NS record, referring the resolver to a different name server that could be responsible for that part of the domain namespace. This allows the domain name system to be implemented as a hierarchy. Another important DNS record type is an MX record, which shows the mail server for a particular domain. Occasionally, one name actually is just an alias for another name. For example, www.gatech.edu actually has a slightly different real name. The CNAME is basically a pointer from an alias to another domain name that needs to be looked up. The PTR is another record that we'll look at, and this maps IP addresses to domain names. For example, if you wanted to know the name for a particular IP address, you need to issue a PTR query. This is sometimes called a reverse lookup. Finally, a quad A record maps a domain name to an IPv6 address. Let's take a look at a couple of different examples of domain name lookups using a command line utility called dig.